Hi Cody, and welcome to your literacy learning for week 9 of term 1. This week we're going to be looking at narrative texts. So you have already covered persuasive and exposition text. You have covered recounts, and you have also covered explanation text with Fire Alley last week. So narrative texts are most people's favourite because this is where your imagination gets to run wild. This is where you get to tell a story. So, episode 1, what is narrative writing? Well, what is the author's purpose for narrative writing? What is it? The main purpose of the author for the author is to entertain. It's to motivate, and in some cases, it's to guide or teach. So you'll often hear of the moral of the story, and that's where that guiding or teaching comes in. So it's where a character has learned a lesson, and that lesson can be passed on. So this week you will learn, and sorry, yes, there is a grammatical error there. I will fix it. This week you will learn to understand the author's purpose of writing a narrative text. You will learn the structure of narrative text, and you will write your own. And you will learn the language used in narrative text and how to write with Stardust to make it exciting for the reader. So let's have a quick look at the structure of a narrative text. So it's actually relatively simple. It starts with the orientation. So that's where you describe your setting and you introduce your characters. This is really, really important to put a picture into the reader's mind. If you introduce and describe your characters and develop your characters, the reader gets a really good picture in their mind. Okay, a narrative text always has a complication of some sort. So there's a situation that causes a problem, or it changes the normal run of events. Okay, so for one or more of the characters. And then generally there's a resolution to that. So it's how will the problem be solved? Okay, an optional part of a narrative text is the coda, which shows how the character has changed and what has been learned. And that's where that moral of the story comes in. So from here, we're going to read some examples of narrative text. So on the following pages, you can pause the video and read the text, or, for example, on this page here, there's this button here, and you can actually click on that button and it will play a recording of me reading that text for you. Okay, for this one here, it's quite good to just actually stop and have a look at what is the setting, who is the character, what is the problem, and what was the solution. This excerpt here from Black Beauty, pause it if you want to read it, or you can click this button and hear me play it. This is a good example of how the author describes the setting. Now, this is the first couple of paragraphs in the entire book. So it really gives you a good idea of where the character is at. Pippi Longstocking, this is a great example of how the author has introduced and described the main character. And they give a great description, and you might like to read this and then actually try and draw Pippi Longstocking from the description. Okay, some of these other ones that we've looked at, we were looking at the problem and solution. So we looked at some good examples of stories, of narratives, and we looked at what was the problem and what was the solution. See if you can come up with your own. Have a good think of some old fairy tales and see if you can think about the problem and solution in those fairy tales. Right, and this is your activity. Can you find some more examples of narrative text? Read journals, picture books. You can click on that link and go to Storyberries. And with each text that you read, can you identify the orientation, the complication, the resolution, and possibly the coda as well? Write it down in your reading books. And if you're at home, take a picture and send it through to us. Otherwise, come and show us if you're at school. Thanks. Bye.